Yo people, welcome back to another video. Now before I start, I want to say thank you to everyone that has helped the channel to reach 1000 subscribers. The road to 2k is now on, and as always, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments regarding the video. Let me know your thoughts on what content you want to see going forwards. I'd appreciate if you could also like the video and sub to the channel. As for WWE, there's been some backlash since Friday regarding the Wrestlemania 41 Night 1 main event, because on Friday Night SmackDown we found out that the main event of Night 1 will be Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. Now, there's been a lot of meltdown online because there are people that believe Jey Uso, the winner of the Royal Rumble, should be the main event by default, as it usually happens. Others believe that if you aren't going to give it to Jey Uso, then give it to one of the female belts, and to be honest, I agree completely with this mindset. The reason I say the men's world heavyweight title in particular should be the main event by default is because WWE kept saying at the Royal Rumble that the winner will go on to have a title fight at the main event of WrestleMania. So now that they're not doing it, it feels a bit off. That's usually why the Royal Rumble means so much for these wrestlers. It's their ticket to the main event of WrestleMania. By not sticking to this, it lessens the Royal Rumble in general, it lessens the win. The World Heavyweight title as well also gets made to look bad because it isn't main eventing Mania because of a match that has no title involved. People aren't going to like this, but there's only one person and his group of associates that is to blame. And it's Triple H and the creative team, because if people aren't excited about a feud that you've planned, then it's your job to make them interested. They basically had 2 months to build the feud and make it believable in terms of main event caliber. And if you're an actual good booker, you can find a way to make it work. And in theory, you should be able to make most, if not all, feuds entertaining. That's your job. Especially in this era where storylines are being valued a lot more than in the past. Especially by Netflix. That's one of the main reasons they bought WWE. They want to see more storyline stuff. However, let's balance this argument. With the triple threat match, it's the match with the most star power by far. But not only that, I personally think that the triple threat match is the main event because we are going to have a crazy finish, some sort of crazy plot twist which is shocking enough to end WrestleMania Night 1. And in particular, a finish that people won't see coming. However, in my opinion, I think Seth Rollins is going to win this triple threat match. He's going to turn heel in the process, joining up with Paul Heyman and the final boss. And I think this is why they've given that triple threat match the main event slot of Night 1. I have a video down below in the description where I theorize in detail why Seth's heel turn happens in this match and how it makes sense in terms of what's happened and what's going to happen in the future. So if you wish to check that out after this video, the link will be down below in the description. In my opinion, all 3 main event belts that are going to miss out on this Night 1 main event have been built up really bad, therefore creating no hype. In Jey vs Gunther, people are just scapegoating Jey. When he's not being allowed to cut a promo, he's just doing the yeet thing, 10-minute entrances, and his promos have declined massively, by the way. If we go back and look at his promos when he was feuding the Judgment Day, or when he was feuding Bron Breakker, for example, that is the Jey that we need to see cutting promos. On top of that, he's having squash matches that no one cares about. He's being put in tag matches. Although it was cool to see the Usos, I have stocks invested heavily in Jimmy Uso and nothing happens with him. But all round, it's just not interesting. Then on the flip side, Gunther, the actual champion, he has no pull. He's also having squash matches that no one cares about, and his character's arguably being destroyed in the process because he's all about honor and I am the ring general and all of this shit. But he's ambushing Jey, who he calls a clown. Why would you need to ambush a clown? He said if Jey chooses him, it will be weeks of hell. And it hasn't really. He's not really done anything. One of the weeks he ran away from Jey. Last week he got rocked by Jimmy. If Gunther was the guy he claims he is, he wouldn't resort to sneak attacks. I know that's a heel persona thing, but for his character, he shouldn't be doing that. He's above doing that. Let's not even talk about his title reign, by the way, because that World Heavyweight Championship has declined in value, in stocks, in everything. It's been a boring reign with barely any defenses. Only this past week has this feud actually done anything. And it's because of Jimmy Uso elevating things. He's building the story better than the champion and his brother. I can appreciate that this week it took them about 6 weeks to finally get here. They're doing the whole Jey's doubting himself, which I appreciate, but it's a bit too late now. We're like 2 weeks away from Mania now. Next is Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. This, I think, will be a good match at Mania, but the build-up is boring. We got brawls, surprise attacks from Charlotte. They do a stupid interview segment. Then last Friday, we got a backstage segment with just Tiffany. I want to be seeing different ways of promoting this fight. It shouldn't just be these boring stale things that everyone else is already doing. And as much as people are getting onto Cody about him being protected and everything against John Cena, the same energy should be reflected on Tiffany, because in my opinion, I think she's quite bad on the mic. They don't want to expose her against Charlotte, who, by the way, in that interview segment, Charlotte cooked her and she did nothing. So imagine in a live promo battle. And yeah, I understand Tiffy is still new to the main event scene, so that's why I'm not going to cook too much, but she needs to work on that big time if she wants to be main event caliber for a long time. As for Charlotte, my only concerns with her is she looks a bit slow from that injury. She had the ACL injury, which is probably the worst one you can get in sports. But now she's looking slow, she's looking nervous. It's looking a bit worrying that she hasn't overcome this yet. Last but not least, probably the worst built feud from this whole Mania, which on paper, it would be the one that I would choose to main event night 1. And it's Bianca Belair versus Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. They have this dumb title match with Io and Rhea on Monday as a cheap excuse to get Rhea into the Mania match after they saw the tremendous backlash they got when Rhea just signed the contract and left. I think this was at Brussels. Now the thing with Rhea is 80% of the talent haven't had rematches for the belts that they've lost, and WWE made it clear no one is guaranteed a rematch. We've seen it with Jey Uso for the Intercontinental title. We saw Liv Morgan not get a rematch, Roman Reigns not get a rematch. However, for Rhea Ripley, she's always allowed to have a title match whenever she wants. Rematch, no rematch, whenever it is, she's got one. And as for this three-way feud, it's been all over the place. Io, Bianca and Rhea haven't actually had any fights in between with other people just to build up momentum. It's been like 2 contract signings that happened for no reason, or Rhea and Bianca just shouting at each other as they make Io look shit. The match will be great for sure, but this build-up is all over the place. They don't know what to do. Do a brawl segment, do a contract signings segment. No promo battles apart from 2 people shouting at each other, where the third one's going to be a bit weaker because English isn't Io's first language. So do something else to spice it up, change it up. But everything is just copy paste, copy paste. As for the Roman versus Seth versus Punk triple threat, it's been lackluster. Most of them don't even show up. They don't have fights to build momentum. The only thing they keep forcing, which is a storyline element, which I appreciate, is the Paul Heyman favour. And at least we saw on Friday some sort of promo battle which was interesting. Even the little details regarding Paul Heyman, these are all small things that make this feud unique on the card, which is what I want to see for all the feuds. That's all they have to do. If you build it carefully and add unique elements to all these feuds, they'd all be interesting. But we're getting the same copy paste for everything. Triple H just took this match as the one with the biggest draw and hid behind it, even spinning the narrative that CM Punk finally gets to main event Mania as a reason to not get absolutely roasted. But the reason I'm not upset about this is because, as I said, I do think the only reason this match got the main event is because of the ending it will have. But obviously they can't tell us that from now. So at the moment it looks weird, but you're just going to have to trust the process. As much as I roast Triple H, the one thing he does good is those surprise moments. So I do think this triple threat will have one, but I cannot let Triple H off the hook for how badly he's built the other feuds and the match card in general for Mania, because this has been atrocious. But yeah, as always, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Which match would you have made the main event of night 1 for WrestleMania 41? How hyped are you in general for this show for both nights of Mania? I'd appreciate if you could like the video, sub to the channel and check out my other WWE videos down below in the description. Thank you for your time and have a great rest of your day.